Restaurant Unstoppable. Inspire, empower, and transform the industry.
Even though you think business, 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 and what's the business lesson? His business lesson is really like the product, the quality of the product has to be incredible.
Yeah, so you find the product and reverse engineer from there,
Yeah.
I guess. So like but by doing that, I think there's, I mean, I'll let you answer the question. Like, what is the benefit of working like that? Like kind of like finding something that's the best of what it is, and then building a dish around it.
So there's like there's a level of security, I think, in that. That you're putting the best components together. Mm-hmm. So and to some degree, we were an interesting pair, because in Steven's world, he would like to have the best, most beautiful lighting, which, probably would be the most expensive. Mm-hmm. In the ingredient, it didn't always have to be the most expensive, but we'd have to take a focus group to study what ham is really the most balanced that we wanted to use, or what butter is really making the best scone. Mm-hmm. So taking an effort to utilize, the time to do that was something that in the end made the business function really well, because we made good decisions out of in the beginning. Yeah. Another really a signature thing from Steven Starr is utilizing a focus group to make decisions.
Ooh, get into that.
So and I do it, I use this every day, the focus group, by the way, now in the age of social media and Yelp and reviews and stuff, that is part of the focus group. But back then and still today in Star restaurants, the focus group of if this is a good pizza slice, or if this is a good tomato salad, or if this is a good margarita, is not a decision he would ever make alone. He's got a gut instinct, and he's seen so much that he could be the winner of all those conversations. Yeah. But he absolutely needs to study it with 20 people.
What's the benefit in that?
It's the voice. Every time you do that, it's kind of like the reference call. You learn something from it. And all of a sudden, I sit down and I eat a slice of pizza, and I'm like, what I love about this pizza? It's not garlicky. Yeah. And I don't have that garlicky aftertaste. And because of that, it tastes very fresh. And he's like, there's no garlic in it? I didn't notice that. That's interesting.
It's perspective.
Yeah. And it was, he's super knowledgeable about pizza, and so am I. But it just there's food is just, it hits everyone's palate so differently. It's a chemistry
thing. It's kind of like a focus group, right?
Yeah.
It is a focus group, is what you said.
No,
but
absolutely.
You're getting immediate feedback from 20 different perspectives.
Yeah.
And who knows what you're opening yourself up to. But so often we don't even open the doors. We just kind of keep those doors shut. We don't even offer ourselves the opportunity to get all this perspective. And I like to say, every mind is like a battery, mm-hmm. right? That mind alone only has so much potential energy. Mm-hmm. But if you connect all those brains together in a focus group, you instantly get the power of 20 brains.
It's a really good way to put it. And now thinking about it that, it proves that it's very powerful. Yeah. And what is perceived as quality in the restaurant business is very unique. There's quality based on reputation, there's quality based on the premium something costs. This Chardonnay is so amazing because it's made by this fancy guy that only makes 4 bottles. Or you're like, this Chardonnay is so great because they make thousands of bottles of it, and it's from the oldest winery. So all of these things come into play, and that affects how you perceive it. Yeah. It's really cool when you taste a wine or a piece of food, or you decide if this sofa feels rigid or comfy with a bunch of people, because the coolest thing comes out of it is the one where you're everybody's oh, yeah, this margarita is delicious. It's fun when you all you come up with something, you're it's that good, right? Yeah. And feels great. And it's awesome when you detect a bomb, and you're this thing is bombing. No one likes this lighting. No one likes this color red, and it's not working. Think about how much you just saved. Yeah. So from there on out, we don't, in my restaurants, from that lesson, we don't serve experiments. We don't serve ideas.
It's already gone through the ringer before it makes the plate.
Absolutely. Yeah. The guests, they are, maybe it should be my mantra, but like I say to the staff all the time, I'm like, guys, the guests are so much smarter than us. They are smarter than all of you. They are better chefs. They're better bartenders. They have their home bar. Their palates, they own their palates, right? And they own their comfort level. Mm-hmm. So they own how they feel about the tableside mannerisms you choose to relay, So I was like, they are in charge. So, the guests know it also, like, feedback is everything to us.
I love it.
It's not us creating a dish and being like, let's see how it goes in a kitchen between 5 chefs. It doesn't matter until it hits the field.
Yeah. There's 2 more things I just want to compound on what you shared with us. The first one is when you get together and you start having this dialogue around these menu items, you're also developing the story behind the menu item, right? Because you're having all this dialogue, and then you can develop a story, and it just helps you sell the thing so much better when you have all these minds come together, and you can talk about how this plate came to be, and it just develops its own persona, right? And then there's a storyline that you get to tie to that menu item, the details of researching every different butter for a scone, right? And being like, we ended up, this scone has this butter, and we chose that butter because this farmer chose to do. And then that just all that stuff, when you really put energy into the product, there's a story that comes along with it, and that helps sell something so much better, right? And then the other thing is when the focus group, the idea, they say artists really get into this place of flow when they're working together and collaborating on a piece, right? It's kind of like that. But when we can work with a group and somebody offers some feed in, and then somebody else has some feed in, that collaboration, there's camaraderie forms around that. I think this is good for culture. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, like that. I mean, to some degree, like you say, unstoppable, that's like the hallmark of unstoppable. I talk about it every service. The opposite of that is when someone says they're having an off night. Like when you have an off night, it's like a comedy of errors. You're just like, my timing is bad. Everything's not coming together tonight. But like when you are unstoppable and it's all coming together, flow. That's the thing, you know, and like every table you wait on, it's like, that's perfect timing, and the food came out, and they're happy, and you're like, it's the je ne sais quoi. All of a sudden, you smile, and they receive you better, and they've had a good time, and they forget they're in a restaurant, and it all lives. When the flow is occurring. When it's like the off night, it's like, can I have my check, please? I've been waiting for some water. Or like, is my food coming? All these basic banal things that happen in restaurants, they can happen, so that thing when everybody's kind of working together. But if there's the story, if people have their voice in the story, they see the big picture, because like, I'm like, wear a lot of hats, learn a lot of things, they can participate in the solution better, because maybe they notice that these people are their ticket's moving slowly, or maybe the server knows that's too much food, and they're going to, be really happy with the lobster instead of the duck. Yeah. It works.
Yeah. I'm loving this conversation.